Hey, I'm John G.
Hey, I'm Craig B. Let's conversate. Hey there, I'm Craig.
John.
Welcome back to ConBroSationalists, and we're going to do a little snippet this time that we call philosophizing. I guess we can call it philosophizing.
Without the philosophers.
Yeah, and neither one of us are philosophizers.
No,
so
not at all.
We're just going to wing it and pull stuff out of our butt and see what we got. But he's going to roll the old Gigantamundo D20, and then we'll ask a question.
Dice. He's got a list there, so we'll see what happens.
Oh,
that was almost 20.
Yeah.
So 2.
It's a 2.
We're always at the top of the list.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Is it more important to help yourself, help your family, help your society, or help the world?
Oh.
Yes? Is yes an answer? I feel like yes should be an answer
so
here.
This is going to be a short episode, yes.
Yes. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. No, really. You kind of have to help your family to help society to help the world. Is that an answer?
Yeah, I kind of think it trickles up that way. You know what I mean? Like I think you have to know how to help yourself.
Yeah.
In order to help your family.
Yep.
In order to help your society. In order to help the world.
Because
I kind of feel like that's how life progresses.
Yeah, because if you're not helping yourself, then you're not going to be able to help society or anything bigger than that.
Yeah, like
if you're not teaching your kids and your family on how to help as well.
Yeah,
like it's not a one-person task.
No, well,
by any means.
I mean the phrase has always been, "It takes a village to raise a child," right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is kind of the same mentality, but I don't know that. If you're not in a place that you can afford to help yourself, I don't know how you can do any of those other things.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and be healthy about it, right?
Yeah.
Like there are people that will give you the shirt off their back, but yet they're struggling to make ends meet to get food in their belly.
Yeah, they'll sit in the freezing cold that night because they gave you the shirt.
Yeah, they gave you the shirt, and they don't have they have a newspaper or whatever else to wrap around them to keep them warm. So I kind of think based on that, it really has to go that way. I really think you have to be able to help yourself. Right? I don't have it memorized. Help yourself to help your family, to help your society, to help the world. Because I feel like that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we've helped ourselves.
Yep.
I mean, again, that sounds so selfish. You know what I mean? Help yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
first.
I think we're continually helping ourselves.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's ever over.
No, but I think what happens is I think the helping yourself becomes a much smaller piece,
especially
as you trickle up. You know what I
when
mean?
You have the family.
Yeah,
like helping yourself is so minute. Because all your energy usually
not that
towards
not that it's not important. I don't want that to get lost.
Yeah, you need to keep trying to work on yourself.
Yeah, you absolutely have to because you can't, even though it becomes diminished, right? But it's not necessarily that it needs to stop.
Yeah,
you have to continue to help yourself in order to do all these other things, and by helping your family, it.
Yeah, because you can put yourself into a fairly dark space there's lots of people that give and give.
Right.
But internally, they're like just screaming on the inside.
Yeah.
That they
why won't anybody give me something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're never going to ask because everybody's too prideful to ask. So yeah, you're just internally screaming all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because there are givers and takers in the world, and the problem is that what I have seen, right? Those true narcissists, all they think about is themselves. They don't think about anybody else. But I mean, that's kind of in the definition of those true narcissists, right? Is that they're thinking about themselves. But in this case, I think what this is that it's important. I think you have to help yourself in order to do anything else. I think you have to. But as again, I think as it swirls around, right, as the earth spins, I think as you kind of go up in escalation and go to help your family and go to help your community or your society and then the world, I think you have to be in the right frame of mind in order to kind of do that.
I mean, honestly, what does helping the world look like? Does helping the world, does it have to be like that breakthrough cancer treatment? Or is it just trying to be a good person and make people around you better?
I think there's a whole lot more of that.
Yeah.
I think people. It ties back into the episode we just wrapped up with goals.
Yeah.
And that I think you have to establish these things to help yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think if there was a whole lot more of those helping my fellow brethren, right, to help attain their goals, right? Like it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, if curing cancer was going to be the only way to help the world, then I don't know that anything else would have been done by now. There wouldn't be wells drilled and food trucks driven and deliveries given and that kind of stuff. If that was the goal, was that you see what I mean? Like, I think it's a little more. I don't want to say grandiose, but I think it's a little more basic. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a little more basic.
Yeah.
A little more simplistic.
Yeah. Could you like, you get to the age, join the military, and put your entire life into the military without a family, right? Which I know your brothers and sisters in arms right next to you. I know it's another type of family.
Yeah.
But could you do that to help the world and not help any of the rest? Not help yourself?
I mean, yeah, you could, but I think again, if
like it's hard to think about it that way, but
yeah, but I think you would still have to be in the right frame of mind to be able to do those things, right? Because when you give something to somebody, there's a certain, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call it dopamine, right? But there's a certain chemical reaction that happens in your body. The feel good, right? Yeah. The feel good emotions come out, and you're like, hey, I like doing that. I want to do that some more, right? So that's where a lot of that will come from. But if you weren't, I don't know that if you weren't in a good state of mind to be able to have that generosity, I don't know that my gut just tells me that all these things kind of tie into one.
Yeah, it's hard to think about them independently.
Yeah, I don't know that you can do one without the other.
Yeah.
I think you can, but I think
somehow it would still.
Yeah, I think it would still. I think it'd still be heavily intertwined. I don't think it's that black and white. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you do this, then this. I don't think it's that simple.
Do you have to care about one more than the other? I don't think you do.
No,
because I think like.
I think if you're in the right frame of mind, right, and you've already done, you've already helped yourself. You don't necessarily have to care about
the rest of it.
If
you don't want a family to help the family, you don't have to necessarily care about your direct society, especially the world.
Right.
I mean, it's easy to just say, well, I'm in the United States, right? We've all got that vision of that we're kind of untouchable here.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do anything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there has to be a certain level of concern and a certain level of care in order for these others to kind of. I think the best way to say this is for somebody to be healthy. This has to be a kind of in an equilibrium.
Yeah, it's got to be that stairs.
Yeah,
that set of stairs you're always climbing, or the escalator slowly just pulling you up.
Yeah, It's not an elevator and it's not a rocket ship. It's just it's building blocks, right?
I'd like to get like somebody way smarter than us. Their like, their view on it,
right?
Because I feel like we're thinking about it in a very basic way, and I feel like there's like
pretty basic. So what more do you want?
I feel like there's like supposed to be this like bigger meaning behind it.
Yeah, but I don't know what
I don't either. That's why I'm saying like what we're saying all makes sense to me on like how you have to look at it. But
by all means, chime in, leave a comment.
And, even if you're not smarter than us, and you think you are.
we're not smart, trust me. We just think we are.
Yeah.
But if you have any and again, let me read the question to you one more time. So the question is it more important to help yourself, help your family, help your society, or help the world?
Yeah. Like reading it again, I'm still like,
I still think you have to
help yourself to like help and move up that set of stairs.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess there's people that go out there just as broken souls and can still do good in the world.
Yeah,
even if they're not helping themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can. Now, again, is it healthy? No. But there's a lot of people who do a whole lot of unhealthy things that are productive members of society. Yeah. Right. High functioning alcoholics.
Yeah, that's fair.
That they're alcoholics, and for whatever reason we don't shame them, and if they ever want the help, then the help is there. But again, that's where helping your society would come into play.
Yeah.
Because if he's healthy, then he's going to be helping his family and his society. But if he's not healthy, because i.e. he's an alcoholic or addicted to drugs or whatever, then he can't help himself first to do any of these other things.
Then he's going to be constantly putting his family and society at risk.
Right.
For whatever decisions he's making.
Yeah. And then at the end of that is help the world, and I think by doing that, I mean, an addiction to anything, drugs, alcohol, nicotine, right? Because I smoked for years, and it took a long time. That was probably one of the toughest things I've ever had to try and quit. But I did that for myself because I knew, okay, financially, it was getting stupid expensive to smoke, and you just might as well be taking that $100 bill and lighting it on fire, and because cigarettes have gotten so expensive.
I guess it's hard. It's hard not to do one and move up that ladder, but it's also fairly easy to cut, like, for the ladder to end.
Right.
Because you can stop the family at any time. You can stop being part of society fairly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could definitely become a hermit.
Yeah.
Right.
I know a couple people that probably don't help society. Probably don't help family either, honestly.
I think I know who you're getting at, but I'm not going to mention names.
Yeah. So it's fairly easy to cut that staircase off, the ladder, whatever analogy you want to use.
Right.
But it's also really easy to, just by living life and being a decent person, you can all of those things.
Yeah, I kind of think by just being an active member of society, I feel like you do all of those.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're living day to day, you're trying to help yourself.
Yep.
Because you want a roof over your head and lights on and gas in the car and food in your belly and those kind of things. So you do those things to help yourself, which in turn, if you're a member of your family, right,
you're teaching them those same habits,
right,
which then is making society better,
which in turn makes the world better.
Which
So again, like I think.
Man.
I still feel like maybe we are being too basic, but I still feel like it's a trickle down thing.
Yeah, trickle up.
Trickle up. They're all tied together. Right?
The glass is half full on this episode, sir.
Yeah. There's a glass.
Yes.
See, I mean, that's the thing, is that if you can't help yourself, right? Like, you got to know where the glass is. So it can't be half full or half empty or 3/4 full or any of that stuff unless you know where the glass is.
Yeah.
You got to be able to have the glass to put all the stuff in it to do the rest of that.
And go a little deeper. Think about how easy it is to.
How deep?
Fail.
Do I need my boots?
No. We're not getting that deep today.
Oh, dang it.
How easy is it? How easy is it to fall off one of those steps?
Well, I think it's incredibly easy. I think society as a whole, it's easy to remove yourself from any of those phases very easily.
Yeah.
Either by choice or by what we've seen in the world lately, by somebody else's choice.
Somebody else's choices.
Right? Because I think what happens, and this ties into the episode we just finished 2 ago, right? I think this first part, if you can't help yourself, then I think you become a detriment to these others.
What if you take, right, we're talking about actions by others taking you out of that picture. How big of an effect on society does that have?
Oh, it has a
by
huge...
by taking this person out of that walk of life, right? All of the choices that they would have made.
Well, exactly.
How many other choices does that reflect on however many people they would have touched?
Right. What is that? I think it was Loki where they talked about the timeline,
oh, yeah, the timeline,
and all the little offshoots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's
like where something gets screwed up and it like.
Yeah, you alter the
Yeah.
timeline, right? And so I think by those actions that cease because of what's going on, right? Like what's the impact that causes? So you have somebody who,
like what?
So
what if somebody would have intervened in an Einstein's path?
Intervened as far as like
school shooting, whatever.
Oh, right, where his
Yeah.
his impact wasn't as broad.
Yeah, like where would
or he never made it to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Where would we be today without an Einstein, right? With everything that he figured out.
That's the $1 million question. I don't know where we would be.
Like how?
Because his impact was enormous.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like how many of those other impacts could we have lost?
Right.
Like that's crazy to think about.
Well, let's look at the other side, right? You talked about Einstein. What about Hitler?
Yeah.
I mean, what if he hadn't have done the mindset that he had, right? And we didn't lose so many of those lives during the Holocaust.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, look at all the impact that those people have had over that time frame.
Or what would we be without the Holocaust as well, right?
Right.
Like, would there be a plethora of people even worse?
There could be.
Hitler?
There could be.
Or was it just I like to think that it's just a senseless act of selfishness. That's crazy to think about, though.
Yeah, because you go from one extreme to the other, and like, or what about Genghis Khan or Stalin or Lenin or
like you get rid of one of these huge pieces of history,
right,
and just gone,
right.
Like how would have that rewritten
Columbus? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, to be fair,
you see where I was going with that one. But again, you take out any one of those things, right? Like those alternate timelines, we don't really know, because again, it could be multiple different options, and I kind of like your line of thought, because it poses the question: what if one of those decisions, because they didn't help themselves initially, their decision impacted somebody else's family, that impacted somebody else's society. And what if one of those people that is not here anymore, what if they had the cure for cancer?
Yeah, exactly.
You like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily. So I still think out of this question, the key most important one is helping yourself.
Yeah, if you're not helping yourself out, realistically, you can't help others.
No, I don't think
Not
there's.
in a.
I don't think there's any way.
Not in like a. Shoot, what's the word I'm trying to think of it? I don't know. Not in like a. Gosh dang it. Man, I'm just drawing a blank.
I draw those all the time. See, look, I got a giant page right there full of blank.
I'm trying to think, like, it's not in a like positive way, I guess.
Right, they don't have that impact, that positive impact.
Yeah. But you can so easily like negatively affect.
Oh yeah.
That was I like that you brought in that low key deal, because the timeline, like, and bringing that analogy in here was kind of perfect.
Yeah, because I couldn't think of it. Like, I know that there's been some other like timeline discussions with wormholes and like the black hole effect and all that kind of stuff.
Look at the Marvel movie.
Which
Doctor
one?
Strange.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new one
Well,
yet.
the new or the old one, like, you make a decision, or the last Spider-Man.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like,
you make a decision and...
Yeah, it changed everything.
Right.
I mean, more than likely, it's not going to change everything. But, yeah, like, what if those blips that were there are gone now, and that was cancer cured?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I just look at it because of the sheer devastation that Hitler caused, right? And you look at everything that happened because of that, and the number of lives that were lost, and just knowing that somebody in that, because of the rapid advancements of everything that were happening, and somebody in that probably had the cure for cancer or could have prevented AIDS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a
because
good
there were
chance
so many of those people that we lost because of that mindset.
Yeah.
Of, oh, I'm going to build the supreme race, right? And we're going to have all this stuff, and we're going to do these things, and there's nothing else but this, and that's all that matters. And if you have this, you're tainted and you're bad and blah blah blah, right? But I think at some point, if somebody had helped him help himself, that whole timeline, I think, would have shifted, and it would have been a completely different. We might be like the Jetsons, like we talked about, and that, we'd be in flying cars and all that kind of stuff by now.
Or did it, as crazy as it is to think about it, did Hitler positively impact the world in a weird way? Like I'm saying, like, by him being so terrible and killing so many people, did he get rid of 2 or 3 more of him, potentially? I don't think so. Because that would be really hard to think about. But
no, I mean I get
the yin and yang side of it. Like,
I get the question.
Yeah,
right?
like,
I don't want to go there, but I mean it would
be hard to think about and wrap your head around.
Oh yeah,
people worse than him.
Yeah, because I mean, again, I would have to look up and look at how many people we lost during that period of time. Yeah. I know. It was ungodly. I mean, just the amount. But I mean, I'm not saying that you're not wrong in that. Yeah. But what I'm getting at is, like, I try not to force my head to go down and think about those questions that way. But yeah, I could definitely see that maybe some of those were, let's say bad seeds.
It's hard to think about them being as bad as that, though.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's like him and Beelzebub, right? That's about the only place that I could go, right? So it's just again, but again, that's taking a faith-based background, right? And it's just I would say yes, that there were probably there were probably some cursory positives, but the whole impact of that was one big giant freaking negative.
Yeah.
Just one giant negative.
Yeah. Maybe it was one giant negative that changed us, taught us something different, so that it wasn't even bigger negative. Maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, it was...
Like I said, I'd like to try to stay on the more positive outlook and be like, I don't think it could have gotten worse than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like we talked about earlier, like, we don't want to do comparisons between, oh, it's this, but it could have been a whole lot worse. But you know what? We're not here to kind of make that correlation. It's just, I think if he had been able to help himself, right? Like, I don't think it would have gone down the way.
Do you remember on why? We're getting a little off topic, but why he even went down that path?
He had it in his head that he was trying to build the super soldat, right? Which was the super soldier.
Yeah, but where did he even get that thinking from?
I'd have to go back and look at...
I don't remember that being...
His whole thing was to build the best soldier that he could possibly build, to have the best fighting machine that he could possibly have. And it's not necessarily that he dabbled in everything that was holistic and good, right? There was a whole lot of stuff that you hear about that they were dealing in kind of some of the dark arts on some of these things and doing those kinds of
may have to go back and watch.
We'll just call it shenanigans, but
there's go back and watch some of that to see if it alludes to like what sent him down that path. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I just think it was part of the, at that point in time, I think it was just part of the German war machine and what they were trying to build. And
he was just cut above the rest.
Yeah, or he was just so extreme, not I'm not going to make him compared to, I'm not going to state any names, but
I know.
To the modern day Orange Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, like maybe he was just, I don't know, maybe he was helping himself and he helped himself so much that they put him in this position to have that negative impact instead of the positive impact that you and I are thinking of.
Yeah.
Because that's just how we think, you know what I mean?
We're not sick individuals.
That's being a sick individual is a debatable question.
Yeah, we're not trying to commit genocide.
Yeah.
By any means.
Yeah. Or anything of. I mean, it's what about let's bring it a little more closer to something more current. Putin.
Is he a byproduct of that same time frame though? Not the same. You know what I mean? Like the ideal of it.
He could be.
I truly think that that's what his plan is.
Well, his plan, I think, is the reunification of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Which included that section of land that he's after, because he's a throwback to the old ideal ways of how the Soviet Union was before it fell and lost all of its power. I think that's his mindset, but is he helping himself or is he helping his country?
I think it's all for his own power, honestly.
Well, that's kind of how he got in there, right? Like he made these power plays with mafiosos and whatever else to get into power.
Yeah, and then now he just continues to kill off or poison or whatever anybody that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you watch any TV broadcast or anything, he's sitting at one end of the table, and the rest of his goon squad's kind of over at the other end,
which is kind of crazy. It seems like you never know how true any of this is, that he is fairly ill as well, just like Hitler was.
That's the
different illnesses.
Yeah, right? I think that's the thought. There's been some kind of anecdotal evidence that leads to that. Yeah. Like one of them was he came out at some speech or something and he had some like flush colored cheeks.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, that's a sign of sickness or whatever. But I don't think anything has come out and said he's got blah blah blah.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen because it's just a bad military move.
Well, and it's a bad.
You don't want to show us having a weak leader.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think everybody can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Without having to say it.
Yeah. There's some ulterior motive there, and I'm not privy enough to understand.
Yeah.
Enough of what it could be, right?
That's interesting.
But yeah.
Maybe that was the bigger question.
Yeah.
Maybe we unlocked it.
It could be. I mean, because that's.
Maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
Y'all tell us.
Yeah, you tell us, but by all means, drop a comment or anything about which one you think of those four are more important. And I think it just starts at the very tip of the.
Yeah, I think it has to start with yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to, because if you don't help yourself, I don't think you can do any of the rest of that. At least not in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I don't think so either.
And leave kind of a lasting impression, and leave that quote unquote legacy, because I forget, I was watching some stuff on I think it was The Voice Australia. There was a gal that sang a song called "I Was Here," but she was in the middle of fighting a battle with breast cancer, which she unfortunately lost.
It was like Old Birdie or whatever that was on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, kind of like Nightbird.
Yeah.
Nightbird. But this gal, I can't think of her name right now. But she sang this song called "I Was Here," and it was all just basically about I'm here and I'm trying to do something and leave an impact. And I mean that's we talk about that a little bit about being about part of the legacy that we leave behind.
Yeah.
So I just looking at that and kind of knowing how we think, I feel like it's, you have to help yourself, because if you do anything other than that, I don't think any of the other stuff gets impacted or matters.
Well, tell us if we're wrong.
Or tell us if we're right. Or tell us to go pound sand.
Yeah.
Just tell us something. No, I was just kidding.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That one kind of ended up cool.
Yeah. That would again, a lot of times we talk about stuff and the twists and turns.
Yeah.
Takes us to places we don't think. But I think on that note, we'll leave it there. As always, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. And on that note, I'm Craig.
John.
We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks. Hey, so thanks for watching. Make sure that you go hit the like and subscribe. Make sure notifications are turned on so you get the latest videos. And remember, never stop conversating. If you want to send us topics, send those to topics@ConBroSationalists.com.